Hey, yo, what's the deal? That's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I mean? As of this recording right now, it is 10:55 p.m. You know what I mean? June 16th, 2025. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit. If I'm not mistaken, isn't this Tupac Shakur's birthday? June 16th, 1971. May rest in peace, man. You know what I mean? May Tupac Shakur rest in peace. You know, Tupac was hands down one of my favorite rappers, ever. Bar fucking up. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, man, it's sad, man. It's sad that we lose our legends, man. Sad that we lose our fucking legends to bullshit violence, man. Yo, before I even get into, tonight's topic, I'm scrolling through, the internet and such. And man, let me tell ya, right? Like, I'm not like, the rest of you IWC pussies. Like, I love females, boy. Like, I love dark-skinned women, man. I got a new favorite porn star. Hands down. And a new chocolate crush, boy. Like, there's two things about me. I love dark-skinned women, and I like BBWs, too. You know what I mean? And especially dark-skinned women. And when you have a combination of both, oh, forget about it. It's a wrap. It is a wrap. There's this female by the name of Asia Drake. Oh my fucking goodness. She's a dark-skinned BBW porn star. Oh man, I fucking creamed on myself when I saw her, boy. Like, there's a certain, like, with dark-skinned women, boy, chocolate dark-skinned women, when they have blue light on them, oh, forget about it. You know what I mean? And when that tone hits, forget about it. Like, that's a world right there, boy. But enough of that. You know what I mean? I want to get into tonight's topic because I haven't done this in a while. A pro wrestling what if. And what I want to talk about is I want to talk about ECW for a minute. Okay? I want to talk about God damn, Foxy Brown. God, all right. Let me chill. I'm going through my fucking, I'm going through my phone and shit, right? But I want to talk about all elite wrestling. Fuck all elite wrestling. I want to talk about ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling. Because what if they would never had died in 2001? Now, at the time, ECW was, and to me still is, the influence as the most national indie promotion in the entire United States. Hands fucking down. Still some 20-something years later, and you have not seen independent wrestling promotions reach the level that ECW have reached. I mean, TNA is not an indie, right? Hold on real quick. Sorry about that, guys. I'm texting a cutie. You know what I mean? I'm texting this girl, a cute girl. But, TNA is not an indie. We're talking about like an underground, like an underground indie that comes out organically. You know what I mean? Like the VHS days and shit. You know what I mean? And so, ECW was that. Like, it was that underground, indie that it made a name for itself. You know what I mean? It was gritty. You know what I mean? Cursing and, real life storylines and such. And a lot of stars came out of it. You know what I mean? Like RVD, Sabu, may he rest in peace. Terry Funk always, always been, a legend. But, this made him, his ECW run really made him the star that he was. Yeah, I mean, Terry Funk was that dude. But if ECW would, and you also had Tommy Dreamer, Taz, Sandman. But if ECW and Rhino, if ECW would have never went out of business, right? A lot of things would have happened, right? Number one, what you seen in Ring of Honor, right? You would have automatically seen in ECW. Everything that you've seen in ROH, right? The people who was there. CM Punk definitely would have been a perfect fit for ECW. Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, you know what I mean? Bryan Danielson. Because at the time, Gabe Sapolsky was running Ring of Honor, but he also was part of ECW too. So you know he would have scouted them perfectly. You know what I mean? Let me see, what else? Hold on real quick. You know what I mean? So, we definitely would have seen, we would have definitely seen a lot of people from Ring of Honor to ECW. Also, 3PW, Chikara. We probably would have seen people like Chris Hero and stuff. And they would have been even bigger stars because ECW was on a national basis. Now, I mean, with syndication, and they also had a video game out too. You know what I mean? Remember that. They also had a fucking video game. Let me see what else would have happened if ECW would have still been alive. The hardcore influence would have been muted because, of course, times were going to change. You know what I mean? And with everything that we've seen, they definitely, especially after 9/11 and such, the PC stuff would have definitely had died down. It would have had to. It definitely would have had to. Another thing we definitely would have seen is no invasion angle. You know what I mean? We definitely would have not gotten the invasion angle that we got in 2001 with WCW and ECW, the Alliance and such. You know what I'm saying? Also, going back to the indies, you would have never seen promotions like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and such. You know what I'm saying? Would we still have seen a TNA? Yes. I think TNA would have definitely been still in existence. But if we're talking about ECW, a lot. Even Combat Zone Wrestling, right? But then again, like I said, there would have never been a promotion that would have been, on the top of what it was like ECW was. And who knows? Maybe ECW would have worked a deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now I mean, because if Ring of Honor did, what makes you think that, ECW wouldn't have? And we also would have seen stars like Teddy Hart and such. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things that could have happened if ECW would have stayed active, but it wasn't meant to be. And also, Paul Heyman would have had an even bigger influence too. You know what I mean? He would have been the one to ride the ship, but ultimately they still would have lost money because of a lot of shit that was going on. And I'm not even talking about the ECW that we seen in 2006. No. I'm talking about, I am talking about, because think about this, right? That one night stand show showed you that ECW could have still been alive. You know what I mean? If done right. Because the fans were there and everything. You know what I mean? But I also think that the fans, see, the other thing too, I think the ECW fans, the hardcore fans and such, to me, they would have been much worse than AEW because, they'll let you have it on, fucking, in the arena and such. And I think they would have gone to bigger arenas like what Ring of Honor did. You know what I mean? So that's just my take and stuff. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think under the comment section. You know what I mean? And I'm going to definitely holler at you mañana. All right? Peace.